I think it's time to open up some lithium-ion 18650 cells. So I have a good little selection here. There's a Panasonic CGR 18650A. These are all pretty old, found in laptop battery packs. CGR 18650CF. So that might be Panasonic also. I'm not exactly sure. So whenever I have a bad cell, I draw a line on here, and then HHH means that it overheated while charging, like overheated a lot. And it's pretty dangerous. I guess I forgot to draw a line on that one. But, oh no, it's not that. It's because it was rusty, that's why. If there's a cell that's rusty or maybe leaking, I already chuck it out. This one looks like it's made by Sanyo. It's really hard to read this lettering on here, though. UR 18650. It's either an E or an F. And then there's M29C. It's interesting. Very difficult to read. I always have a very bad experience with red cells. They seem to be the cheap ones. I don't know. Then we have 18650C4. And that other stuff on there. Then we have BAKA04. Once again, bad. And then here's a Sanyo US 18650GR. I've actually found these to be really nice, although this particular one overheated while charging it. Now, we can take out our multimeter. 3.9. That's messed up. Sometimes this multimeter doesn't work right. That one's not displaying anything either. Nope. Definitely. So, I have this car headlight wired up to this. And we can just pop that in there. You can see how many amps that's pulling. Pulling 2 amps of power. That's a good amount. While those two are being discharged, let's make sure that these actually do have a connection and are empty. It's not displaying anything. Now, there's the issue that there is a fuse inside there. At least I think there is. There's like a thin piece of metal that can melt if there is too much power going through. So this could be fully charged, but that fuse is popped. And I would hate to cut it open if that's the case. I would like there to be at least a couple milliamps of charge current going through. Unless I just fried it. That's very possible. Yeah, let's go check. And the multimeter was dead the whole time. Dun dun dun. Or not. Looks like that multimeter is okay. Never mind then. Well then how can we test continuity? I know. We have that one battery discharging. So that's already a source of power. And if it charges it, that means it has continuity. Oh. Yep, that has some continuity. That has no continuity at all. So that one looks like it has a popped fuse. And that one definitely has continuity. Okay. So I've never opened up one of these cells without fire coming out. So, of course I have a lot of like welding, forging clothes on. I want to open this one up first because this one most likely is totally dead, and then later I'll see about opening this one up, which is probably not totally dead, and we can open that up and see if I can get in there and I can get behind that fuse bit, I can discharge it. But I don't know. Oof. What the fuck am I doing? So I think next time I should start maybe more in that little indentation. Started a little low and started ripping through some of the, I think that's some of the outer layers of the Swiss roll. That's what it's called, this part right here, this configuration is called a Swiss roll compared to a pouch. So it's just a little interesting little factoid. I've gotten this electrolyte on my hands before and it's never nice. The key is to remember that it's easily to wash off, but it hurts the longer it's on your hands, so just make your way to the bathroom and wash your hands off as soon as possible. So I think now I'll use the pipe cutter to cut off a little bit deeper to take off that piece of plastic, and then I can cut more in that groove maybe? I don't know. Looks like that is actually leaking a little bit, or at least it was. I do like how shiny it is though, that is pretty cool. I'm in. Oh, come on. Oh, no. That doesn't say 4.07 volts, does it? Holy fuck. I am glad I did not arc that over. That was almost a fully charged cell. Holy shit. That's what I was afraid of. Well, I was afraid of fire. But, looks like cutting in that groove actually is fine. So now let's discharge this one and get back to it later. So remember, dead lithium cells can still bite. Oh, and it's also leaking its electrolyte everywhere. Oh, shit. Yeah, it's all the electrolyte. Well, okay. This one's discharged to the point where I can just have it short-circuited by the multimeter, and now it's just trickling down a little bit. And that way I can still use the headlight to discharge the Sanyo, was it US 18650 GR? Yeah. This cell seems to have a finer line. There seemed to be a thicker line on the other one. Well, that might shed some more light on this cell. Just if you need more information. That's interesting. So I keep discharging this one, and the voltage just keeps on going back up. It went from 0 volts back up to 1.8 volts, so there's obviously some issues inside of here. Well, I guess I might as well just cut it open. So the voltage is, what? All the way back up to 2.61 volts. What the fuck? It keeps going up. But then if I go to shorting it out for the amps, weird. It was down to like 50 milliamps before. This thing's all sort of weird. I don't know if I want to take that apart now. So 18650s have a sweet, almost, well, like a sweet acetone, but also a bit fruity. And I kind of like that. Granted, I've smelled so much acetone that I don't really smell it that much anymore. That might be a bad thing, but it kind of reminds me of that. The nice, like, has a punch, like a nippy smell. Kind of bites. But, I mean, it's almost like a perfume. I tend to think perfumes smell disgusting. Why don't they have normal smelling, like nice smelling things like WD-40 or 18650 electrolyte? You know what I mean? Why don't they sell that? Why do they smell some like shit water that smells like you squeezed 1,000 flowers into a piece of shit liquid that's like disgusting and like makes you throw up as soon as you smell it? I don't know. That is not the same smell. Perhaps it's just Sanyo cells. Maybe Sanyo has their own formula. Because like this one, it just smells like just smells like sulfur and shit mixed together. And I've only had Sanyo cells leak on me, so this is the only one I've smelled. Either way, if you smell something sweet around a lithium cell, it's most likely venting. And it's probably not a good thing. Unless you're cutting it open, which then, of course, it's the same thing. It smells like paint also. Oh, and it's bubbling. Maybe I shouldn't put that near my nose. Ugh. Yeah, it is actively bubbling. That makes me very suspicious about this lithium cell, that's for sure. These cells seem to have a very high internal resistance. So basically, even though they're shorted out, they still take a while to discharge. Well, I say just let them sit for 3 hours and then we can continue this in the basement. Just with a fire extinguisher handy. So it's actually been 6 hours that these have been discharging. Let's just check the red one. It should still be almost 0. Yep. Actually it's been shorting out anyway, so very good. Panasonic. It was jumping up to 2.9 volts, but now... What? What the fuck? That was discharging for 6 fucking hours. No sense. So if we go to complete circuit, yeah, 13 amps. I don't get it. Is there like some gremlin that's recharging this cell? It can handle a full short for 6 fucking hours. And then it's still holding power? This makes no sense. Now I have this. What? Are you kidding me? It's just been discharging for so long though. What the fuck? What? Are you kidding me? This was in this socket with the wires twisted over. Maybe these just have such an incredibly high internal resistance that it takes them like a day to fully discharge. That doesn't make any sense though. What the fuck? I'm not exactly a fan of how this crimps this, because it'll most likely make it very difficult to get this out, you know? Looks like there's a little tube on the inside. I'll see if I can get that out. I find this small core to be very interesting. This is fucking nerve-wracking. But it is kind of cool at the same time. Like this center core has holes in it, and it's obviously round and whatnot. It's hollow. It is cool. But I spend so much time trying not to even barely dent an 18650. Now, cutting one open and just rough handling it is just... No, it's just... feels wrong in too many ways. So unsafe. It's an odd little wraparound part of that. Let me try to tear it real quick. We have an insulator of some sort, which is this right here. It's a plastic insulator. And then we have copper with a black powder on it. I imagine maybe the black powder would be the lithium cobalt oxide or something like that. Whoops. It really gets everywhere. So there's this first one, then there's a plastic barrier, and then there's another material, which is probably going to give me cancer for doing this. This other material is a bit more flexible and is also backed with a plastic lining. That does not look like copper. Interesting. I think I'm not going to bother opening them up this far anymore. Unless I can just like actually cut down the side and cleanly take them out, but man, these are just such a fucking pain. They are really strong. I have kind of more of a appreciation for them. Oh, it's a short 18650. I have more of an appreciation for 18650s now that I know a bit more about. I've actually seen what's inside of them. It's very cool. But man, these things are durable as all hell. Here's a phrase: let Swiss rolls lie. Then again, let pouch cells lie also, because those things can blow up in your face. But I imagine a pouch cell would be a lot easier to open than an 18650 Swiss roll configuration. Because the Swiss roll, or yeah, I think that's what it's called, is crammed into a the cylinder housing. Yeah. So first off, we have the Panasonic CGR 18650A cap. Then we have the Sanyo US 18650 GR. My hands are shaking so much from all this. This one looks almost like it could be its own battery if you just lay it down. This is just a super generic one. It looks a lot different. Very minimal. This is the CGR 18650 CF. But yeah, since I kept the cover on that one, the plastic, it looks like it could just be a tiny little cell you'd find like on the clock on your computer or something. Here's the miscellaneous Sanyo. There's an odd little divider inside of it. Yeah. Which is another miscellaneous one. This one's actually very odd looking because it's so flat on the underside. So this middle one is the Panasonic CGR 18650A, I think, and it's odd because it actually has the positive coming off from the side, not from the middle, like all the other ones had. This one seems to have like a little circuit board. I can't remember the name of the actual. It's not meant as a circuit board. It's just the material of a circuit board. It's like the fiber board stuff. This one looks to be plastic, and this one looks to be thin plastic. This one looks to be harder though. I do have to say the build quality on the Panasonic, I like it a lot better, and I like the design. But I don't know. I mean, I'm not too picky. It is interesting how the Sanyo, this Sanyo US 18650 GR, has a much thinner, much narrower connector than that one does, from the Panasonic. And this generic one has actually a very wide one, not as, it's kind of in between. It's kind of in the middle. I find that interesting. And to be honest, I really don't feel like hacking these open because these still have a little bit of power in them, and it's just like, no thanks. I'll probably just hook a resistor between them and discharge them, and then I can do something with them in the future, but not right now. Now I have one last thing to do to set up for the thumbnail. Woohoo! I think I shall maybe have this one down here. I don't want to cover these up though, because I like how colorful this is. It's so cool. Have a little bit of this shit here at the bottom. I don't know about that though. Sometimes I have a lot of fun setting up just the thumbnail because it's really nice just to get a good photo. And sometimes if I get a really good photo, I'll keep the photo on my phone just and like look at it like, ooh, I remember that. That was cool. That's my thumbnail. Perfect. So nice. Usually I like to get the thumbnails from the video itself. And well, I guess actually now I could technically get it from the video itself, but I'll use the nice image that I got of it. But sometimes, if it's a video that I hope will get a good amount of views after my subscribers see it, then I'll definitely like to make a nice little thumbnail while I have the chance. So I didn't take these apart just for curiosity. I actually have a motive for this, and that is to get more information about the internal configuration of an 18650 cell, because I'm kind of reviving my project for making the Tinkerer's Guide to the 18650 cell, and I want there to be an exploded view diagram of an 18650 cell, and like the Swiss roll and the fuse and housing and everything. And I really haven't opened up an 18650 cell, and I don't really want to trust other people's opinions on it when it's within my reach to be able to do. And I've kind of settled upon a hand-drawn with letters from a typewriter schematic type diagram. Now I just need to rotate this model and get used to rotating things. I might just cheat and use Blender and then make the 3D model, export it, and then copy that, because I can definitely use Blender. I can draw faster in Blender than I can on paper. But yeah, I'm going to get some progress on that because I've been working on that for like what, 3 or 4 years now. So I'm taking the tabs on here and folding them under the lip so they're always short-circuiting, because as it is now, as long as they're shorting out, the amount of power they're giving is very small. And then I'll take those and put them outside in the middle of the extra lot because it's freezing outside, and hopefully if these catch on fire, nothing else will catch on fire. And then I'll go wash up my tools and hope I don't get cancer. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and thank you very much for watching. See ya!